The 2022 CHIP Act allocated $280 billion to reestablish the United States for its place in the chip war. Why should that be important to you, and how can you benefit from it?
One tiny technology drives the biggest breakthroughs. Semiconductors are changing the way we transcend distance and travel distances. They help ensure our well-being and our way of being. From farms to factories to front lines, semiconductors are poised to help us be smarter, more resourceful, and faster than ever before. Decades of innovation have made the semiconductor industry among America's most important, propelling semiconductors to become a top U.S. export. American semiconductor companies account for nearly half of global sales, and nearly 2 million American jobs depend on the semiconductor industry. Its value to our economic growth, supply chain security, and technology leadership is undeniable. But its future is not guaranteed.
That's the why for the 2022 CHIP Act. Now, how can you benefit as an investor knowing what you just learned?
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
The 22 CHIP Act was funded with $280 billion to achieve these four objectives.
Increasing federal investment in semiconductor research, incentivizing semiconductor manufacturing in the U.S., expanding access to global markets, and strengthening America's technology workforce.
The first two awards from the CHIP Act of 2022, the $280 billion, the first one went to BAE Systems. This is a British company that has factories here in the United States, and they develop chips for our fighter airplanes. And the $35 million that they were awarded represents about 3% of their last year revenues. So I don't see this as making a major difference to the company, but I think it is giving them some indication of what might be available in the future. The second award was made just last week, and that was $62 million going to Microchip Technologies. This is a U.S. company, and they make embedded controls. And what that means to me is that they make the controls that go into a microchip that might guide a missile. It might guide a fighter airplane. But again, this $162 million represents 2% of their annual sales. So the big question is, where is the rest of the $280 billion going to go? Well, we know we can narrow it down. It's not probably going to go to a foreign company. It's going to go to a company who will create jobs and revenues here in the United States and generate tax dollars. And a part of this $280 billion is actually tax relief as well as education funding. But what we need to know is, what is the U.S. ecosystem? I think most of us believe that the bulk of semiconductor work is, at least manufacturing, is done by Samsung and Taiwan Semiconductors, and Intel is our largest player, but they're basically involved in the PC market, and the United States is probably going to be more interested in building the structure that, first of all, will help our national security. So who might that be? And then they're also probably interested in creating jobs here in the United States. We know that Intel is building plants, foundries, fabrication foundries. That means they're going to be buying equipment from ASML, which is a Netherlands company. But they're going to also be buying the design of the chips from the U.S. companies. What we need to know is, who are those companies, where are they located, and where are they going to fall in the pecking order. So let me show you this map that I found that will give you a full and complete look at the U.S. Semiconductor ecosystem. From there, then, if we know who the players are and if we can determine what their roles in the game is, we can probably predict who's going to get the balance of that $280 billion and make a good investment. Let's take a look at our map. This is the map I was referring to. It's the Semiconductor Industry Association map that gives you a good understanding of where the industry is, where the semiconductor industry is in the United States. As you can see, it is prevalent in all but looks like 5 states currently. What I also like about this map is you can go into it and determine who the players are in the different parts of the industry. This shows all. Let's just look at manufacturing. And there you see, these are the manufacturers of semiconductors and the equipment that supports the semiconductors. And if you really want to see the scope of this, I encourage you to blow it up and take it to Arizona. This is where an awful lot is happening. Here you can see this is Amcor. It's got a $200 billion manufacturing equipment investment. Linde, $600 million. And then we get into Microchip. This is the company that received some funds from the CHIP Act, the $162 million. And then you get into some other players as well. And here you see Intel is building a $20 billion plant, and Taiwan Semiconductor is building a $40 billion plant, a foundry in Arizona. I see the value of this as a key to anyone who wants to come to a strong understanding of what the semiconductor industry is about and how you might want to invest in it. It's going to take a lot of work. I'd also suggest you start by reading the book, The Chip Wars. This is a tremendous history of semiconductors and transistors in our world, and then a projection as to what is going to happen in the future. This is the direction I'm going. This is what I'm going to spend my time doing to help my tribe better understand the opportunities that lie behind this map right here. So if this holds interest to you and you want to and believe like I do that the future of my investing future, probably the last chance I'll have to make big money is to understand the semiconductor industry, to understand how that it relates to artificial intelligence and eventually machine learning, and then beyond that quantum computing. If that's something that holds some interest to you, you can either duplicate what I'm doing or join my cause and join my movement to harness this. And I do this on my website, bestofusinvestors.com, and I've created an active spreadsheet. What I mean by that is it's a Google Sheet, so that the data on the sheets updates as it's changing based on the formulas that I build on it. And then this is my Buffs portfolio manager. And as you can see, I have about 30 some stocks in here in the Bus 12, which is the hardware element, and the Bus 13 is the hardware element, and the Bus 12 is the software. And then I've just recently added another bus, the Bus 12, and this is my moonshots. These are the companies that I've discovered through that map and other sources that I have that are not big players. They're the small players in this industry with the small market caps ranging from 1.9 billion down to what's the smallest one there, 158 million. These are the companies that are going to give us the potential of a 10x. These up here are probably 33 to 40% growth in the year, although I have some in here that are going to give you some heavy growth this next year. And it's all explained over here as they are projecting the growth in their in their earnings per share. But anyway, this is a part of my Platinum program. And what I do is use both, I search. I'll use the map to find the firm. Then I'll go and look at their financials and see how strong they are. Right there you see Intel. They have very strong financials. They have a good history. They just got lazy and made some bad decisions. But you can see they're projecting that their earnings are going to grow by 100% in this year, and then 40% the following year. And this is earnings per share, not just earnings. And then you see there's some companies like NVIDIA who's projecting almost a 500% increase in earnings per share. And then you get down to some of the smaller ones that are 234. I then research these and say, is it real? Is it going to happen? And I share this on a daily basis with my Platinum members. So I don't know. I see some of you respond to me in the comments by saying this is all a bunch of malarkey, that an individual can't compete with Wall Street. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's true. It's just like, yeah, you can go to Las Vegas and you can play the roulette and you can play the slot machines and the blackjack, and with some education you might come out a winner. But if you really want to win, you've got to go to the poker table in the back of the room, and the smartest guy's going to win. You know, there's a patsy at the table, and everybody's happy to see him there so that they can take their money from him. But if you'll educate yourself, I responded just today to a comment from David and he's saying, you know, it's all poker chips, and I said, no, it's not. It's the fact, understanding the fact that 98% of the people in this world haven't read a nonfiction book since they left their highest level of education. And that's where you learn. That's where you gain knowledge. That's where you read the book Chip Wars, and then you find that website that shows the map, and then you go and you look at their financials, and then you learn the technicals, and you can win at this game. You really can. I've been doing it for a number of years. I'm a retired financial advisor. This is my passion. This is what I like to do. I'll continue to do it whether you join the tribe or not. This is how I make a good, substantial part of my living. So if you want to be a part of it, join the tribe, and that's achieved by getting on the Platinum bus.